Welcome to the Bald Brad Show. Our lead story of the day is regarding Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg suing House Judiciary Chairman Jim Jordan, Republican of Ohio, escalating a standoff over the prosecutor's investigation into former President Donald Trump. The 50-page lawsuit, which accuses Jordan of, get this, obstruction and interference, seeks to block congressional subpoenas linked to his inquiry into Trump making alleged hush money payments during the 2016 election cycle. This is how far back they're willing and trying to go. And one of the mechanisms that Alvin Bragg is trying to do to put Trump behind bars is extend the life of the statute of limitations by basically saying, hey, you know what? He wasn't living in New York City. So the time he wasn't in New York City basically disqualifies him from enabling that extension of the statute of limitations. So in a nutshell, Alvin Bragg is going to extend the statute of limitations on his side for when Trump wasn't living in New York City, which is it's not a foolproof argument. It's really going to fall apart. And it's not just me saying that. Many lawyers on both the right and the left are the ones saying that as well. And furthermore, it just goes to show you how far the Democrats are willing to put not just Trump behind bars, but also go after Republicans. And we were seeing this, yes, even in 2016, where heck, let's even go further beyond that. In 2008 forward, where the Obama administration was utilizing the IRS to go after conservatives and political opponents. And we also see that from Joe Biden as well. And the point I want to make here is, anytime somebody wants to put America first, Americans first in general, make America great again, they're going to go after that individual. And the main person that's kind of representing that whole idea is Donald Trump. They don't like him. They don't like that idea. So what are they going to do? They're going to do everything they possibly can to put this man behind bars. And what I've said, and I find this so interesting, is that the only thing they can get this guy on is roughly $130,000 of hush money that supposedly came from a porn star in terms of him paying her off to be quiet about it, in which she broke that NDA and had to pay Trump lawyer fees of like $600,000+. This is all they can get on Trump. I mean, they have gone so far in depth on this guy that literally they searched his underwear drawer. You can't say that much about Joe Biden. One, you don't want to search that guy's underwear drawer. Lord only knows what you're going to find. I mean, the guy wears diapers, but you understand what I'm saying, folks. Okay, let's keep it clean here. It's a family show, okay? But it shows you that they're willing to do anything they can to go after not just conservatives, but also former presidents, which has never, ever been done before. This is the first time. They're going to silence you on YouTube, like we're seeing here on the Bald Brad Show. Big Tech's going to silence conservatives, literally, like we've seen happen to Charlie Kirk, Jordan Peterson, and others, the editor-in-chief of the Babylon Bee. I mean, you have all these people being silenced by Big Tech, all because they don't go along with the Democrat Party's narrative. I mean, you literally have the Biden administration coming out and calling you a threat to democracy. All of us here are, because we're MAGA supporters, we're Trump supporters, or hell, we just love America. Somehow we're a threat to democracy. And you're an extremist. Literally, you watching this show are an extremist just because you love this country. It's astonishing. Well, last week, Jordan announced a subpoena demanding a deposition from New York County Special Assistant District Attorney. Geez Louise, what a name. God, calm down with this naming stuff. Look at this. New York County Special Assistant District Attorney Mark Pomerantz. Holy lordy. Who has been gung-ho, basically, about criminally charging Trump. I mean, this guy's been doing everything he possibly can. Pomerantz abruptly resigned along with one other prosecutor leading the Trump inquiry in February of last year after Bragg reportedly expressed doubts about the case he inherited from his predecessor. In a resignation letter that later came to light, Pomerantz insisted, folks, that Trump was guilty of numerous felony violations. Isn't it amazing? Is that you're innocent until proven guilty, but basically he's charging Trump that Trump is guilty until proven innocent. That's basically what he's saying here. So guilty of numerous felony violations. He has since opened a law firm with the other prosecutor who quit, Carrie Doon, and earlier this year came out with a tell-all book called People vs. Donald Trump. Jordan said Pomerantz's public statements about the investigation, quote, strongly suggest that Bragg's prosecution of President Trump is politically motivated. Yeah, I would say so. I mean, just listen to what Bragg has said before and during right now. Listen to those like Pomerantz was saying during and now it came out with a telltale book or a tell-all book, however you want to phrase it. I mean, it is insane how much they're willing to go after this guy. And like, if you notice your Democrat friends are like turning a blind eye to all this, that they don't even want to talk about it. You notice that? Like, where are all they on social media? Can you imagine if the Republicans put this kind of effort in going after Joe Biden, which, by the way, is actual legitimate argument about going after Joe Biden because we got the guy on tape. We got the guy's son on tape. We have emails. I mean, we have way more evidence about what Joe Biden has done than what Trump has done. And like I said, they're going after $130,000 of hush money. Really? That's where you want to spend your time? Trump, who has broadly denied any wrongdoing in months into another bid for the White House, Jordan, a supporter of the former president, has placed scrutiny on federal funds being used in the probe. Absolutely. Bragg's office said roughly $5,000 in federal forfeiture money was used on expenses related to the investigation of Trump and the Trump Organization that were incurred between October 2019 and August 2021. Jordan responded by saying the panel may consider legislation, quote, to enhance reporting requirements concerning the use of federal forfeiture funds and or to prohibit the use of federal forfeiture funds to investigate a current or former president or presidential candidate. With Jordan signaling this month that others, including Bragg himself, may also be subpoenaed as they demand information from the prosecutor's office. The lawsuit also asks the court to declare an invalid any subpoena targeting the district attorney or current or former employees of his team. You have, like I said, at the beginning of this, I said there's a standoff between these two. I mean, things are going to get real interesting real quick here. Bragg's lawyers filed the lawsuit in New York federal court in addition to Jordan. The suit lists the House Judiciary Committee and Pomerantz as defendants. Here's a quote. The subpoena seeks to compel Mr. Pomerantz to testify in a deposition on April 20th. Chairman Jordan's demands, including his subpoena to Mr. Pomerantz, seek highly sensitive and confidential local prosecutorial information that belongs to the office of the district attorney and the people of New York. Basic principles of federalism and common sense, as well as binding Supreme Court precedents, forbid Congress from demanding it, the lawsuit says. I mean, you got a spiderweb of crazy ish here. The Daily Wire asked the Judiciary Committee for comment and was directed to a tweet sent by Jordan on Tuesday afternoon. Quote, first, they indict a president for no crime, not wrong. Then they sue to block congressional oversight. When we ask questions about the federal funds, they say they used to do it. So now they're trying to hide stuff. So it's amazing here how the Democrats want to get away with doing everything they possibly can to make sure that Trump doesn't run again. All the while, they want to exacerbate and basically continue to sell us on the idea that Democrats don't do anything wrong. Joe Biden's done everything right. Although Joe Biden's not willing to do a press conference. When he does, he fumbles through his words. You don't have to look any further than his latest gaffe of him fumbling through his words of trying to answer the question, are you going to run in 2024? I mean, that's where we've gotten with this guy. He can't actually answer if he's going to run in 2024 or not. Not even like dance around the question. He literally just can't answer it. He fumbles through his words. He started talking about eggs and finding eggs and losing them. I mean, the only thing he's losing is this, his head. So we got a more bleep storm going on with this Manhattan District Attorney, Alvin Bragg, on something that probably didn't need to go through. Yes, if Trump did do whatever he did in terms of misappropriating funds or campaign funds or whatever what it is, it's wrong. But it's $130,000. I mean, it's weak sauce to go after him for that. And you know what? Quite frankly, if the coin was flipped on Hillary or Joe Biden, and it's never been done before, there was like no precedents, and I'm like, are we really going to go after Hillary or Joe Biden $130,000 of hush money years ago? I'd probably say let's not waste our time and our money on it because it's going to cost a lot of money. As much as I would like to see certain people behind bars, because I do think that they did break the law and they definitely worked the system and they basically destroyed this country from the inside out, which we keep saying as a theme here on the Ball Brad Show. And, you know, hey, let's plug it one more time, folks, because it's in our book, Trojan Horse, How the Left is Destroying America, in conjunction with the Democrat Party as well. Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, Walmart, link is in the description. Grab yourself a copy, folks. Maybe we'll do signed copies one day. If we can get more copies in here, I will sign some and I'll just sell it kind of on the back end or whatever. But the Democrat Party wants to destroy this great nation. They're trying to destroy number 45. And once they're done with him, folks, where do you think they're going to move on to? Where do you think they're going to push all this stuff on? They're going to push it on all of us. They're trying to see if they can get away with it on him. If they can get away with it on Trump, can you imagine what the federal government can do to you? Let me know, folks, what you think about all this in the comment section. Really, YouTube wants to see you interact with the channel, as do I. So the live chat does not help with interacting with the channel. I don't know why. Either it does and YouTube's just trying to screw us, but whatever you write in the live chat, just throw in the comment section as well. They do want to see the interaction. Basically, the more people that comment and watch all the way through, they're going, oh, people love this video. Let's send it out to more people so they can consume more content. there's a lot that goes into that as well, but your help and support would be greatly appreciated. Well, moving into our next story, and this one is big, folks. There's been a lot of talk about World War III, a lot of talk about China and Taiwan, China themselves talking a lot about China and Taiwan. Well, the Chinese are saying they are ready to fight after massive drills around Taiwan. And they've also sent an animated video, which is kind of hilarious. And I'll show it to you because it's a really bad video. I mean, if you're going to send a video of like trying to show your force, it's not one that you throw out there. So communist China is ready to fight, supposedly. By the way, they've been saying this for years. I am a firm belief that I think probably by either 2025 or 2030, that we probably will see some sort of advance on Taiwan. And that's coming from a lot of people that know a hell of a lot more about China and their military than me. So I'm kind of getting my information from them on the back end of me doing all my research. But they are saying about 2025, 2030. The closest date I've heard, and this happened last year, was that we would see China invade Taiwan within 2 years. So you're talking within probably 2023 here, latest by middle 2024. They're doing these drills because of the president of Taiwan basically doing a bunch of rounds and meeting with Congress. Kevin McCarthy. I mean, met with Kevin McCarthy, so China are all upset about it. So the U.S. adversary declared its readiness for war after it finished 3 days of large-scale military exercises around Taiwan on Monday. Taiwanese Defense Ministry said that it tracked 91 Chinese fighter jets. So the Chinese basically threw out their entire Air Force off its coast during the last day of its exercises after dozens of warplanes crossed the maritime median line of the Taiwan Strait on Sunday. Chinese state media said that the warplanes were loaded with live ammunition. Oh, I don't know what that has to do with anything. Like, I mean, nobody would have guessed if they did or didn't. I mean, you could be lying the same way that you lied about the Chinese spy balloon. It's just a weather balloon. It's civilian. It's civilian. That Chinese balloon is civilian. And Joe Biden totally bought it. Oh, let's just let it fly all the way across, guys. It's okay. They're just taking weather. They're just taking readings. No, they're taking readings of our military installations, Joe. You don't have a clue what's going on, so you wait till it flies all the way over, gathers all its intelligence, and you blow it out of the sky. Well, during the exercises, China conducted simulated attacks on key targets in Taiwan, and the communist country's state-affiliated media showed an animated video, which we're going to see in one moment, created by the People's Liberation Army of an attack on Taiwan. So, I mean, look, we should take this seriously, but how can you with this video? I mean, this is the video. If you're on audio, you got to just come watch the video. It's so bad. By the way, I can't do it. By the way, hold on, can we go back just a second? Look where the blue lines are going. They're not even hitting. The missiles that are supposedly being shot aren't even hitting Taiwan. In the ocean. So now it's showing their military might here. It's showing their small navy that they have that they're trying to build up. You got a guy with binoculars looking off. I mean, this is not a show of force. I'm not intimidated by this one bit. But I guess we're all supposed to be with what China has. Look, it is a serious thing. I'm not trying to make it seem like it's not. I just think it's amazing that you could tell that the Chinese totally scrambled to put this together the last minute because they really didn't think that Kevin McCarthy would actually meet with the Taiwanese president, while the Taiwanese president is basically just doing travel, like a routine travel. But now they're just going to show us a bunch of footage of them flying jets and basically an animation that could be done, I don't know, by somebody 20 years ago in middle school. But we're supposed to be, all nervous and worried. So should be taken seriously because you never know what the Chinese are going to do, especially with Xi, who's basically in for life now. What goes on with the Taiwanese and Chinese warships had a confrontation on Monday when a Taiwanese frigate warned the Chinese to avoid Taiwan's, basically their zone, their surrounding area. An audio of the incident reportedly revealed that the Chinese responded to Taiwan's warning by claiming the 24 nautical mile zone does not exist. Taiwan is an inalienable part of China. So they're still pushing this whole idea. For the longest time, I didn't really understand how Taiwan kind of even existed, but this even goes back to with like the nationalists as well as the communist Chinese back when Mao was trying to push this whole agenda back in like the 40s. So you had basically the nationalists and the Chinese party going at one another. for basically the country. And so the nationalists ended up fleeing to Taiwan, and the Chinese Communist Party basically are the ones that took over. And so that extrapolates into today. I mean, I'm going over like 80 years of history in basically a sentence, but that's in a nutshell what's happening here. So the Chinese still feel like, well, we own you nationalists, we own you Taiwan, you're still a part of us. You can't be a self-governed body or people. And so that's where this is all coming from. And it's over an island, over something really tiny. That's like the United States trying to claim Catalina over, like, you say you lost it, or people basically left and fled there, that you're gonna spend all your time in possibly a World War III over Catalina off the West Coast. Insane. The Chinese ship allegedly ended the conversation by saying the People's Republic of China is the sole legal representative of the whole of China. That's exactly what I just said, basically. Beijing's latest threatening actions come days after Taiwanese president met with House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. I'm not even going to bother trying to say his last name or his name in general. Was it like Si Ing-wen? I'm probably mispronouncing that. You guys know I'm not great with names. Don't you judge me, all right? You try to say it then. It's tough, all right? I'm ad-libbing a lot of this stuff. Remember, there's preparation that goes into it, but I want to give you a real-time reaction and commentary a lot of this stuff. We're going to end off with a quote here. As the president, I represent our country in the world, whether it's a visit to allied countries or stopping through in the United States and interacting with our international friends. And not only has this been going on for years, it's the Taiwanese people's shared expectation. This comes from the president of Taiwan. But China used this as a pretext to start military drills, creating instability in the Taiwan Strait and region. This is not the attitude or a responsible major nation in this region. No, I absolutely agree. I mean, they're going to continue to go psycho. They're going to basically try to do anything they can. I mean, if you're going to do it, really would be the time under Joe Biden. I mean, you cannot get probably more of a weaker president than Joe Biden. So it's amazing how they're not pushing through with this. I mean, now, I'm not for it. I am not for it. But I'm just saying, if there was a time to do it, now would probably be the time. Our military numbers are extremely low. Our assets around the world are extremely low. You got Russia invading Ukraine. We're spending billions of dollars there. Our manufacturing's all over the place here in the United States. Our supply chain is still all over the place. I mean, right now, there's so much chaos going on that's kind of being thrown under the rug by the Biden administration. It's basically, they're not exposing the real story of what's happening to America right now, both inside and just globally. So, like I said, I'm surprised they haven't advanced on this, because now would be the time to do it. I'm not for it. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Do you think that we should create World War III over Taiwan? We've asked this question before. Let's see what your responses are in the comment section. Again, it does support the channel immensely. Moving into our last story of the day, Whole Foods flagship San Francisco location is closing due to, just guess why they're closing, rampant crime and drug use in the area. We've seen so many stores close out of Democrat-ran areas. It is literally head spinning. Starbucks has closed locations in all Democrat-ran areas, by the way. You've had, what else? CVS, Walgreens. I mean, you name it, you probably have a store that fled from the area, and those are just actual name brand stores. That doesn't include the mom and pops that are basically being screwed out of all this. Whole Foods in downtown San Francisco will close abruptly just a year after opening. So you have these people, oh, that's a great idea. They totally support us. They totally support our movement. No, they don't. They're going to look at you and steal your crap, because in California, we have a thing called Prop 47, where if you steal anything under like $950, nothing happens to you. And that's why there's endless videos of people walking into Walgreens, walking into Whole Foods now, walking into CVS, and literally just stealing lip balm, chapstick, just all sorts of stuff. And they'll carry it out in like a duffel bag. And by carrying it out, they're just walking out of the store. They're not running and afraid of the cops, because nothing's going to happen. And that's why you have all these people fleeing. But again, the Democrat-ran areas are totally fine, you guys. There's no fire. It's just all smoke. Although you have massive homeless, you literally have a quarter of the homeless population in one county, meaning Los Angeles. Wait till 2024. What is it? It's either 2024 that we have the Olympics here, or it's 2028. I guarantee you're not going to see a homeless person in sight. It's going to be like Joe Biden flying down there to the border, and just by chance, by just circumstance, there was no illegal immigrants when Joe Biden showed up there, even though there were literally like thousands in the street the day before, like 24 hours before. It's going to be the same thing. You're going to see thousands, because again, the core of the homeless population is in one county, LA County, where the Olympics are. One day you're going to see them. The next day you're not going to see them. But the Democrats care. Democrats 100% care. The company cites safety for its team members as the primary reason for closing the store. You have the same thing being said by Starbucks, by the way. And Starbucks was extremely for the LGBTQ community, if you recall. To ensure the safety of our team members, we have made the difficult decision to close the Trinity store for the time being, said a spokesperson for Whole Foods Market. It's not a tough decision at all. I mean, the liability on that, if you know that something's happening, can you imagine the lawsuits that are going to come through because you don't want to take care of your ish? All team members will be transferred to one of our nearby locations. I wonder how far that one is. Nearby is like in another state. A local San Francisco supervisor, Matt Dorsey, expressed his disappointment on Twitter. I'm incredibly disappointed unsurprised rather, by the temporary closure of the mid-market Whole Foods. Our neighborhood waited a long time for the supermarket, but we're also well aware of the problems they've experienced with drug-related retail theft, adjacent drug markets, and the many safety issues related to them. Why don't you, rather than just going on Twitter, why are you not contacting your local representatives of your area? Maybe your mayor, maybe the person that's running the show, maybe your congressman or woman. I mean, why are you talking about Whole Foods? Why don't you take care of the area of which you live in? But they don't want to take care of it because you guys, they'll be bigots then at that point. If they actually sat there and cared about all this stuff and said, hey, why don't people stop doing, why don't you get the druggies off the street? Why don't you get the homeless people off the street and find places to put them, meaning getting them the help that they need, and stop incentivizing this stuff. And by incentivizing, literally in some areas, they're actually paying these homeless people to be on the streets. I mean, there's an interview of a guy getting paid like $600 given cell phone and food. He goes, why would I move off this beachfront property when you're paying me to do this? Also in California, they want to give them, or already have given them, areas to do drugs. They're incentivizing people to do drugs. They get free needles and everything. It's insane. It's so disgusting in the state of California. And I haven't talked about this in a while, but I have mentioned it. There's literally an app that you can download so you're not stepping in human feces. You can actually report human feces on the app so you're not stepping in it. Sav says, I believe she was Turning Point USA now. She does a lot of on-the-street interviews. Literally wasn't in California longer than, I think, 30 minutes. And she already had seen people doing drugs, doing the fentanyl crawl, passed out on the street, and human feces everywhere within like 30 minutes of landing in California. This place is disgusting, man. It even smells in downtown Los Angeles, by the way. I can't imagine what San Francisco smells like. The supervisor then announced a new legislation proposal called the San Francisco Police Department Full Staffing Act. This is rich. This is rich. The act intends to reestablish, you guys. Oh, it comes full circle. You'll see what I mean by it in a moment. The act intends to reestablish minimum police staffing levels and mandate certain budgetary provisions over a 5-year period to achieve a fully staffed municipal police force in the city and county of San Francisco. The same people that wanted to defund the police are now wanting to fund the police because they realized it wasn't a good idea. And we were all sitting here for years going, hey, you idiots, probably not a good idea because what's going to happen? Oh, you're going to have an increase in crime and people are going to be pissed over it. And now you have this happening, and now you have to institute an act for police. Who the hell wants to be a police officer anymore? The amount of liability, because you have a guy shooting at your face and you shoot him back and you're still going to be held responsible for when you kill him. Who would want to be a police officer nowadays? You guys are idiots. By you guys, not you, the Democrats. And I'm being very sincere. The Democrats are idiots when it comes to this stuff. They don't have a clue. They don't have a clue on how to run cities. And for some reason, people still voted in the midterm elections. The same people that are watching this happen to their communities here are voting still Democrat. Let that sink in. You have rampant crime, rampant drugs, gangs. I mean, you name it. It's happening in Democrat-ran areas. They're all for it, you guys. You can't, if you're a Democrat going, I'm not for it. I'm not for crime. How can you say you're not? It's not like one issue. You know what I mean? It's not like me going, well, because of this one issue, I'm labeling you this as a Democrat. And that's the reason why you shouldn't vote Democrat. No, it is a litany of issues as to why you shouldn't vote Democrat. You are better off voting independent than you are Democrat. Hell, you might as well just gamble having a conservative or Republican run your local area and see what turns out over a 4-year period or so, 2 to 4, and just see what happens. Just take that as a gamble rather than gambling on Democrats to actually keep solving it. I mean, that's the definition of insanity. You continually electing the same party and getting the same result, and that result tends to get worse over time because they're not doing anything about it. And what they're doing is just exacerbating the issue by spending more money and basically incentivizing this behavior. And so now, after years of all this stuff, of us chanting and screaming to the skies, defunding the police is a terrible idea. Now you want to sit there and reestablish minimum police staffing levels. Oh, God. The plan recommends an increase of at least 400 police officers in the next 5 years. Dorsey pointed to a police staffing chart that shows the city is about 400 police officers under the recommended levels. According to the chart, San Francisco's police staffing is at its lowest numbers in approximately 1,500 years. If you want to see a real difference, by the way, basically double that number. And maybe even triple it, because the more policing you have in the area, more patrol taking place, the lower the crime is going to be. And that's why you have Democrat-ran areas, and also even honestly Republican-ran areas. The areas that are not being policed have the most crime. And you don't even have to be a genius or even see a statistic on that to know that would probably be the likelihood of taking place, because when people know that police aren't going around, they're going to commit more crime. So they have a graph. There's no need to show it. It just shows the staffing levels are low. The massive Whole Foods location was one of the largest grocery stores in San Francisco at nearly 65,000 square feet with more than 3,700 products. You guys, it must have been really bad, because the amount of money that Whole Foods had to put into this building and just to create that type of square footage of a grocery store, crime had to be through the roof for them to look at the liability and go, you know, we might as well eat the cost because this is insane. So things are bad. If you're not living in California, God bless you. You're in free America. I couldn't be happier for you. I still live in the battleground here. We're fighting on the front lines, folks. Don't leave me in the trenches taking grenades, okay? If you want to support us and not leave me in the trenches taking grenade, you can either hop on Amazon and buy our book here. If you haven't picked up a copy, just support. Even if you don't plan on reading it, just buy it. You know, in the same way, if you want to support the show, hit that like and subscribe button. Hopefully I've earned it. Leave us a comment down below. And we have a join tab. If you want to join and help fund the show, it's $4.99. There's also other options for you to spend more if you'd like. Go crazy. You can also donate money in the live chat or in the comment section. They're right under the video. You'll see a big thanks, and you can spend as much money as you want, folks. It's all going to go back into the show. It goes in my pocket, but it all goes back to the show. But we'd love for you to join and become a patriot. Hang out with all of us in the live chat. We have a hell of a time, folks. I mean, you guys are hilarious in the live chat. I laugh every freaking morning. And you know what? Can I just say this? And I'm really not trying to build you up. Some of you guys got to watch it, okay? You're getting a little much in the live chat. There's been times where I'm drinking my coffee because I have it on my phone. I'm also playing it on the TV. And I almost spit my coffee out because some of the stuff you guys say in the comment section of live chat is hilarious. I really do appreciate it, folks. I really do read all of them. Thank you so much for always supporting the show. I love hanging out with you guys. You are true American patriots. Become an actual patriot by joining us down below in the join tab. Contribute to the show. And folks, I'll see you tomorrow here on the Bragg Show.